Anyhow, so tell us a little bit more about, you're the marketing manager there at Blue Fountain Media. I did a little bit of homework this morning about Blue Fountain Media, and you guys are focused primarily on website design and online marketing with a strong emphasis of social media. Again, that's my take on it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe just help our listeners better understand what keeps you busy on a daily basis pertaining to social media there at Blue Fountain.
Yeah, well, we do, our company does do design and development, and then we also have a strong online marketing department. So we do all different aspects of online marketing, from SEO to PPC, and then also, as I said, a lot of social media for our clients. So, and it, depending on the client's needs, social media may be a larger part of their campaign or a smaller part. We definitely do emphasize the importance of being present across social media channels.
Now, are you guys running specific social media campaigns for your clients, or are the social media efforts that you provide for your clients just a complement to the online marketing services?
It's certain times it's a compliment, but if we see that a client really needs social media more than anything else, then we'll make that, the bread and butter of what we're doing for them. We try to tie everything in together and make sure that all aspects of their online presence are taken care of. So we don't, if a client has a bad site, maybe we focus on redoing a site initially before we focus on marketing it. So it really depends on the client's needs.
Right, so that's pretty much a nice way of saying, dear client, your site sucks, and we need to get this squared away first before we can move on to the online marketing aspect. So I love being brutally honest when it comes to web design.
Yeah,
because,
we try to put it a little more delicately than that, but.
Well, of course, but between the dialogue that we have now, when that we think of let's just be real for a second here, and I find myself I'm very vocal. With clients, prospects, people that I meet with, talk to, whatever the case is, and they, what do you think of my site? Now, listen, I'm going to be honest, and it might sting a little bit, but I tell people that, and they appreciate that sometimes. But I completely get the fact that you've got to be a little bit more warm and fuzzy pertaining to that. Now, do you get a lot of resistance from your online marketing clients for social media, or do they just automatically get it by default because they're already in the online space?
There is just sometimes there's a bit of a knowledge gap. Most clients I find are really excited about social media and they want to be involved and they understand that that's really important to their branding efforts. But sometimes there's just a little bit of education that needs to happen and a breakdown of, with more established older businesses, they're used to this corporate talk and always projecting that sort of sterile image to their audience, whereas social media obviously is it's a new space, it's young people talking, it's a bit more casual. So there is a bit of an education process there with sometimes getting them to let go a little bit while still maintaining a very strong branded message that's consistent across all channels.
Right. And what are some of the things you guys you go over when you're taking the old school and welcoming them to the new school? What are some bullet points that that come to mind, or that you normally do as protocols, helping them better understand where we're at and why they need it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, why they need it. Obviously, social media is an incredibly strong branding tool. We like to use it to build trust for a brand. And build relationships and create new relationships with fans and foster loyalty to the brand. We also, let clients know that it's a good way to protect your reputation. If anything negative should happen with regards to your brand, it's important that they have a presence across these channels so that they can respond quickly and protect themselves. And then in terms of, how we help clients go about these goals is we emphasize creating a dialogue with their followers as opposed to just talking at their followers, which is when you see people doing social media badly for their brands, it's often heavily promotional and, as I said, talking at somebody as opposed to really engaging them. And that's what we try to move away from and educate our clients. This is why we do it this way, and we want people to respond to you as opposed to just feel that they're being bombarded by your brand message.
Right. Yeah. Social media is not a platform to sell your product or service. It's a platform to just like you said, manage your brand,
Exactly.
but most importantly, build a community and a trust factor there. And if those two things are in place, then the sales process will take its course. But I think that's really the biggest hurdle right now, Alanna, is with the learning. You talk about learning curves and people really understanding why they need social media. I've had so many clients that have signed on since we opened the agency in November that are really confused because they think that social media is automatically converts to sales the very next month as soon as you have a presence. And it's not. It's about building that foundation.
Yeah, and that's definitely a big hurdle to get over. Really helping the client understand that while it is important for branding, it's not a sales mechanism. Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that.
And I heard Eric Qualman, the author of Socialnomics and all of the social media revolution videos, say yesterday on a webinar, if you have a bad product or service, social media will not clean that up. And isn't that the truth? High five to that.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
And he also said social media is not free. Everybody thinks it's free, or I'm going to do that. I'm going to update it on there. It's not. He said it's more like a free puppy than a free beer. That makes a lot. That makes a lot of sense. It really does. Why is social media not free? Why does it cost money? Well, you have to pay someone to be able to help you set up, manage, and grow that community. And I think that's where the real rub is from people, because they think, I gave you $1, I want to see $2 next month. And that ROI phrase always, which is becoming a 4-letter word, even though it's 3, is really coming into play a lot. And Gary Vaynerchuk talks a lot about being a marathon and not a sprint. And it really is. It's slow and steady and building that foundation, engaging in those relationships, building the community so that, I always say in a lot of seminars on the radio show, I've said it numerous times, if people don't know what you like to do on the weekends, what your kid's name is, if they haven't had a cocktail with you, if they haven't had an opportunity to engage with you, they're not going to spend $1 with you. And that's just the hardcore truth. And I think that's that's starting to be more relevant, I believe, as a consistent message for people understanding through that learning curve that you talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, do you guys talk about what social media? You probably have a lot of questions when bringing the old school to the new school. What's involved with a social media presence for a company? Do you talk about several different factors? Because for me, it's every aspect and every facet of the company. That's my opinion on how social media is for a company. It's not just one department that handles it for a brand. It's from the top execs down to the employees, as far as being able to, PR, service, sales, crisis, recruit, and product. I mean, there's a couple different factors there.
Yeah, well, we definitely emphasize, a couple different factors when initially beginning to get involved in social media, but sort of what you were alluding to, defining roles and making sure that it's clear who is going to manage what, and that the message stays consistent, the voice is consistent, no matter who is, making updates or, creating new contests online, making sure that there is a protocol for how those things occur and who deals with them. And that everybody in the company understands those roles and understands how to execute on those types of issues.
Right, and it cracks me up. I continue to see that companies have implemented a no social media policy within the company. To me, that's just insanity. I mean, it's because what's happening is Tony Hsieh with Zappos talks a lot about instilling that trust factor and making sure no one breaks it. And then when it does, things like that do happen, the company as a whole learns from those mistakes. And what happens, I believe, when companies put a social media procedure, policy, etc. in place, not allowing employees to utilize social media to talk about work, personal, et cetera, as long as it stays within a relevant and appropriate content. What they're doing is the company's automatically breaking that trust factor, because what are the employees going to do? I'm going to access it on my phone while I'm sitting at a desk and nobody's watching. No cell phones. I'm going to use it at lunch. I'm going to go to I'm going to go on a quote unquote bathroom break. I'm going to go up, grab a cup of coffee, and I'm going to get on and I'm going to talk about what I'm doing anyhow. So I think that really affects the trust factor. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I think that's just a totally backwards way of approaching social media. I mean, I wouldn't want to work for a company like that. Blue Fountain Media, obviously we are a new media company, and we emphasize with all of our employees to be active in the space, and follow people in the industry, and lock down your social media accounts, lock down your domain names, etc. So I think it's important to convey to employees how to represent the company in a way that is professional, and not to not say negative things about the company, or sort of avoid that kind of issue. But, I think having your employees be active in social media can be a great thing, as long as you just sort of establish some, like you said, some loose guidelines about how to go about it. But banning it seems crazy to me.
No, it definitely does, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, you have everything, and I continue to hear this case study over and over again about the Red Cross, and they're very involved with their social media strategy. And one of the guys that's on the social media team, went to go send I don't know if you heard the story or not, went to go send an update out on behalf of himself, and the update read, and I quote, "Ryan found two more 4-bottle packs of Dogfish Heads." Great beer, by the way. Midas Touch beer. When we drink, we do it right. # getting slizzard. Now, that went out on behalf of the Red Cross by accident. So, crisis management in all facets, it appears the Red Cross is partaking in. They immediately tweeted out, "We've deleted the rogue tweet, but rest assured, the Red Cross is sober and we've confiscated the keys." So, again, what a great example of a brand being in crisis mode, social media crisis mode, but being able to correct it. And most people probably got a laugh out of that tweet more than anything. And then when the Red Cross followed it up with something to really clear the air, it creates that trust factor back again. And then what happened after that? Then Dogfish stepped in and put a portion of their proceeds to the Red Cross for a campaign, and now everybody's happy and seeing everybody working together now. And I think that's really powerful.
Yeah,
it's really powerful. And brands are too paranoid of what's going to happen. They should be paranoid of what's going to happen because they don't have a presence, so they're not talking about their brand.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Red Cross example is a great one, because it was an embarrassing tweet, but the way that they responded to it was so wonderful. They used the medium, of course. They didn't send out a press release. They tweeted out something that was funny and appropriate for the medium. And like you said, it does really create, I felt more connected to the Red Cross after that. I was like, wow, they're real people, and they, silly things that are slightly embarrassing happen, and the way they managed it was just totally appropriate. I thought it was great.
I did too, and I think that's what we all relate about. I don't know if it's a younger generation. I don't know if it's the .com generation. I don't know if it's the digital age that we're really part of right now, because it's a really exciting time to be in business and to be alive because of the way that we communicate. It's so easy, and again, we no longer have to look for news and information. It comes directly to us. It's literally at our fingertips. So because of all of that, being able to see a brand kind of let their guard down a little bit and roll up their sleeves and say, hey, behind this brand are real people just like me and you, and let's let's really engage. So, and again, I always talk about a brand should be talking about the weather. It should be talking about their products and services, things happening around there, and they should be talking about relevant information that pertain to their industry or their brand. It's not just buy my product, come to my event, buy this, buy that. It's not. It's, hey, how was your 4th of July weekend?
Yeah.
What did you cook on the barbecue? Yeah, yesterday it was, what do you think about this Casey Anthony verdict? I mean, people went bananas on, you talk about crowdsourcing. That nut job gave, crowdsourcing a whole new facet yesterday. So, and again, sorry, I got a little crazy on the whole Casey Anthony thing, but, there's mixed emotions across the board, I believe, on there. But, well, great. This has been fantastic. We're dwindling away on time here. We do this for 30 minutes every day, as I told you, Alanna. So this has been great dialogue. I really, really appreciate your time this morning here and chiming in on social media and everything you've got going there at Blue Fountain Media. I look forward to staying in touch with you. I know we're connected now on Facebook, and I'm following you on Twitter.
Yeah.
And you're following myself in the show. So
I just added you on Google Plus.
I'm going to tweet. Google Plus. We ran out of time. That's a different show. I'll have to have you back on so we can chat about that. A lot of hype pertaining to Google Plus. So stay connected. Follow Alanna on Twitter. I'm going to tweet that out on SocialBuzz on air right now. Alanna, thanks so much for your time. Have a wonderful Wednesday there in the Big Apple, and I look forward to staying connected with you.
You too. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks, Alanna. High five.
Bye.